So let's talk a little bit about how you hold the trombone. Lots of problems in the future can be avoided simply if you can get your kids to set up right about how they hold the instrument. Remember, tension is the issue that we're always working to try and solve in our young players. So you want to make sure their setup allows them to have the least amount of tension possible. A couple things about the trombone. Let's deal with, first of all, the left hand. This is the arm and the hand that supports the weight of the instrument, and in the beginning band class, this is the heaviest instrument in the band. I know we all think tuba is going to be the most heavy, but it's actually resting on the player's lap. And the trombone, you support the entire weight of the instrument with the arm, the shoulder, and the upper back. So it's real important for your trombonist to have the right idea about how to hold that instrument in the most efficient and most comfortable way. How that's achieved, basically, if you could get them to take the left hand here, hold their hand out as if they're going to shake somebody's hand. They're going to put their thumb right here on the support brace. They're going to wrap their 3 fingers, pinky, ring, and middle finger, around the cross bracing right here. Because of a kid's hand, everyone's going to be slightly different about this. So you want to be sure that you allow for some amount of variation. I have worked with kids who do a little bit more like this. I've also worked with kids who are more wrapping around like this. I've even worked with kids who don't use their index finger to point it off over here on the mouthpiece, as most textbooks say. Everyone's different, so find the most comfortable looking grip for most of the kids that you work with. Okay? Now, when they hold the horn up, you want to make sure you sell the idea that the instrument is suspended from their arm, that they're not lifting the trombone, that they're basically suspending the trombone in a framework that's held up with the left hand, so that they suspend it in front of their face. Okay? Let's deal with the right hand. Here's where a lot of sloppiness comes into trombone playing. The least amount of fingers and hand you can have on that slide, the greater the accuracy and the ability the slide technique will show. So I think the easiest way to think about this is you want to hold the trombone slide with the fingertips. There's more nerve endings in the fingertips than there are in any part of the middle digits of the finger. Don't allow your students to play with a lot of hand down here. Get the fingertips up near there. They'll have a greater sense of the spatial differences between positions. Number 2, you want to support that slide in 2 different places. One, of course, will be holding between index finger, middle finger, and thumb. And I'm saying holding and not pinching. Don't allow your students to pinch. They just hold it there. The second place that allows for a little bit of grip is to take the middle finger and put it on the outside of the slide tube. So that basically they're holding the instrument between the middle finger and the ring finger on their right hand, as well as they're holding it with their thumb and index finger and middle finger on that right hand. And this is going to allow for a lot of wrist mobility, so as they move the slide in and out and they change positions, they're going to be using a lot less of their shoulder and their elbow, and they're going to be incorporating a little bit of wrist in there. It also will allow for shorter arms, which you that teach 6th graders are going to have a lot of problems with. It allows for that shorter arm to allow the thumb to come off, but still have some stability on the slide because we're gripping between the middle finger and the ring finger. Okay? What we want to avoid are problems like this, where all the fingers are inside and we're only gripping at one point, because that's going to create some danger and some instability in the outward positions. It's also going to lead the student to want to use more of these middle digits of their fingers rather than the fingertips. So be on the lookout for a fingertip grip using the middle finger and the ring finger as a grip point, and the thumb and the index finger as another grip point. Let's quickly talk about posture here too. Most of your kids are going to be sitting down and playing. It's a well-known truth that when we play an instrument, we want to keep a nice straight posture. I think that's for 2 reasons, really. It looks better to the audience. Number 2, it just creates a thorax that's going to allow for greater efficiency when it breathes. If you recall from breathing earlier, it's going to allow that expansion to happen, that upward action to happen, and keep your students relaxed. Obviously, we don't want slouchers in the band. We want them sitting on their chair. Is it important that they be on the end of their chair? It's important if it's important to you. Is it important to the instrument? No, because you can be just as straight in the back of the chair too. So if you are okay with them being on the back, sometimes the back of a chair can provide more support, particularly for that trombone player who's got the heavier instrument in their left hand at the time. So when dealing with the posture itself, you're looking for a real nice straight torso. You're looking for a nice relaxed upper body, so thinking about shoulders. You're also going to be looking for, and this is the last point on posture I'll talk about, that the student brings the trombone to them, that they don't meet the trombone halfway. Let me demonstrate what I mean. I'll see a lot of kids who do this. That's a problem because, as you can see, it's cramping my torso in one place. It's also causing me to jut my neck a little bit forward, which can cause some tension problems down the way. Get your kids to think about pivoting that instrument up to their face. And you might even practice 3 minutes of doing this, just getting them to think about not moving their upper body will ingrain a great habit in them for the rest of their lives so that they're not meeting the instrument halfway.